It wasn't going the whole time.
No.
All that blabber jabber jabber. No, keep it going, keep it going. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Fearsome Reactions. I should start on Broadway. That was like a beautiful voice,
That was
right?
off key.
It's all right. I am who I am, and I am not ashamed. But you were supposed to join in. You just didn't know.
Nobody told me anything.
Even though we did it the first time and the microphone wasn't on, you still weren't with it.
I'm just gonna let you.
Okay. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Mama Dawn,
Danny.
my daughter, my beautiful daughter. Before we jump into tonight's feature film, make sure that you hit up Patreon. We have got exclusives, we've got early access, we've got watch-alongs, we've got top tier gets to choose one movie every single month that we must watch. And then we are foregoing and testing out a new thing. Instead of doing polls, we're doing like a spin to win, and if it lands on you, you get to give us 3 choices for regular that go on YouTube and 2 choices for exclusive, and then we decide out of the options you give us what we want to watch. We feel like it's involving you guys more in what you actually want to watch instead of us just throwing some random stuff on a poll, and maybe you don't want to see it, maybe you do. So definitely check it out. And there's a week trial, and like, who doesn't take advantage of a trial? I'll take advantage of every mother trucking trial on this planet, right?
Same.
And if you don't take advantage of a trial, shame, shame, shame. I'm shaming you right now with this little figure. Shame, 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 shame. Talking to you. Anyways, and we want to thank everybody who has already subscribed to our channel and as recent subscribers. Don't forget to, if you haven't yet, subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000. We know a lot of you watch our content but haven't subscribed, so please do that. Okay, awesome. So anyways, yeah, definitely subscribe if you like what you're seeing. I don't know why I just want to be singing through this whole intro. Anyway, what is our feature film tonight?
Tonight we're watching Black Widow from 1954.
Now, I have been wanting to watch this for a long time. This was a poll winner, and this one's been like, y'all hear that? Cat's not in dire straits. The cat has got one of his little jingle balls in his mouth that he likes to play with.
Yes. Yes.
He felt left out in this introduction. Would you like to stop any day now? You done? Okay. Yeah. And I've been wanting to watch this for a while, and we kind of been putting it off because somebody's kind of been like, eh. I don't know why.
I also had classwork, by the way. Let's throw that in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was finishing up her first term of a college university. But you kind of have been like, eh. When I bring out the name, I'm like, eh. Why? Are you, eh?
I mean, I have no, like, I'm just in the middle neutral about it. Like, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you had something against it.
No.
When I think of Black Widow, I think of,
Spidey.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Or wasn't her name from Marvel?
Yeah.
Black Widow?
Yeah.
But it's obviously not that because this is from 1954. But anyway, I don't know what it's about. I have no idea. You?
I don't know. Nothing. No.
The hills are alive with the sound of her yawning. What? Anyway, with our very limited knowledge of what this movie is about,
just hop into it.
All right, y'all. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Da da da. Da ba da ba ba.
The Black Widow,
Ew.
deadliest of all spiders, earned its dark title.
I hate
for its
spiders.
deplorable
Me
practice
too.
of devouring its mate.
Ginger Rogers.
Hey, Ginger Rogers. Who always has to kill spiders in this house, though?
You.
I hope you find your mother better, honey.
Thank you, darling. Take good care of yourself.
I'll be all right. And you stay just as long as you think she needs you, understand?
I will.
TWA used to be a big airplane,
Yeah, I got it.
airline.
And don't forget about Lottie's party.
Oh, I'm not going to that shambles.
Now, Peter, just a minute.
I'd just as soon go to a party in an insane asylum.
It must be BHOH.
Oh, no.
BYOH.
You're not going to leave me in there all by
Bring your own hat.
Would you like to go out on the terrace?
Good heavens, you're not thinking of jumping, are you?
What did she got on her face?
It really matters.
Oh.
It's just that my mother always told me that if a girl could be at a party for 30 minutes without getting a man to talk to her, she might just as well go on home and shoot herself.
Oh, jeez.
I've already been here 25.
Well, in that case, I'll be very happy to save your life. You a friend of Lottie's?
No, I don't even know her. That's a funny thing about New York. Sometimes you meet the hostess at a party like this, and sometimes you don't. I came to this one with another girl, but she's disappeared.
Well, I think I saw a tray of rather revolting little lumps and toothpicks here. Yes, just a minute.
Probably back in the day when they could drink at 18.
Good night, Miss Marin.
Oh, and do give my love to dear Benjamin
Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. That's not possible.
What are you doing after this?
Just go on home, I suppose.
Well, could I persuade you to have dinner with me first?
You're married, dude.
What about your wife?
She's out of town for a while.
Oh,
And you don't have to read the line like that. The invitation is for dinner only.
Where are you taking her?
Out to dinner. After which we're going to say goodnight to each other. And at 12 o'clock when Iris calls, I'm going to tell her all about it myself. Thus, saving you the trouble, sweetie. Good night. Come on, Miss,
Ordway.
Starting rumors.
No, that's the funny part about it. She's not an actress. She's a writer. Matter of fact, she doesn't seem to have much interest in the theater.
You want to bet?
No, I guess not.
Just wait until the next time you see her. You'll find out how uninterested in the theater she is.
You know what that kid got away with for dinner? A whole mess of marinated herring, 2 big bowls of pea soup, steak about the size of a doormat, 4 vegetables, some tomatoes, bucket of salad,
Oh my god.
some cheese, and a chocolate nut sundae.
That's a lot of food.
Yes?
Don't you really recognize me?
Well, Nanny, good heavens, come in. There, let me. No wonder you've grown so. Even if I had been expecting you, I wouldn't have looked for a beautiful young woman. Well, how old are you now, anyway?
I'll be 20 next month.
Within a week of her arrival, she was already on her way uptown.
Well, for heaven's sakes, I'm certainly glad to see somebody else besides myself reads Conrad.
You like Conrad?
I love him. A lot of people may think he's slow and deliberate after the way writers move along these days, but I like that. I like to get right in there with those people and find out what they're thinking and feeling.
That's the ugliest waitress.
2 weeks later was 24th Street at the kind invitation of a new friend.
Nanny! Yes?
It's John. He's flying down this afternoon, wants to take us to dinner. What about you?
You'll be all right, I suppose.
Oh, the lady from the
I'm
restaurant.
going to work.
Is that who that is? Yeah.
Tell him I'd love to.
About a month before Lottie's cocktail party, she had reached 45th Street in the theater where Lottie was starring in my production of Star Rising.
I'd like to see Mr. Ling, please.
Mr. Ling is gone already.
Oh, dear. Did he say where he was going?
May I ask your name?
I'm his niece, Miss Ordway.
Was he expecting you?
Put that over there.
No, I just took a chance I could have dinner with him. You know where he eats?
Good evening, Mr. Denver.
Hiya, Fritz. How are all your ales?
Oh, just about the same, thank you, sir. Maybe my hip is...
Is Marion still here?
Yes, sir.
Ah, just the fellow I was looking for. What about you and Iris for dinner with me?
No, Kent and I were booked. What's
So
the
she
matter?
had seen him before, even though she acted like she didn't hadn't.
She can have it. Iris doesn't want it.
Why, isn't it any good?
Well, the play's all right, but he wants to go to London. Iris doesn't want to go to London.
What'd he do, stand you up?
Oh, no, I just took a chance. He didn't know I was coming.
I'm sure he didn't. He's far too gallant to stand anyone up, even a relative.
You know him.
Very well. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm Miss Charlotta Marin's husband.
Really?
I have a name of my own, of course, but it seems stupid to use it when I can get so much more attention simply telling whose husband I am.
I know him.
You do?
Brian Mullen.
Well, how did you know it?
From the newspapers when he got married.
Well, I've never heard of such erudition.
Because that's the second time she's referred to the newspapers and seeing somebody get married, no?
Oh, not in the least. I love it. Identity of my own.
I don't know, of course. But that's quite a line you've got there.
Is your name Ling, too?
No, I'm Nancy Ordway. My mother was Gordon Ling's sister.
Do you drink?
No. But I'm hungry enough to eat a bear.
We'll split one.
Okay, so I can't quite figure out what's
That
going on yet,
background
do
to
you?
the tragedy. Let me now pick up the story of my friendship with Nancy Ordway.
Okay.
And then find out suddenly that he was really in love with his wife all the time. It just isn't possible with genuine people.
Is this official?
Really, I'm not kidding, Peter. When you're in love, you're in love. When you stop being in love, you stop. You just can't start up again like a stalled motorboat.
Fell in love with another guy a few years ago. And that turned out to be a mistake. She fell back in love with me. Just like your motorboat starting up again.
And all the time you kept on being in love with her?
I did.
Who was the man?
A fella named Martin. Friend of the family, of course. Well, what does it matter who he was?
What? That's how she just came from. Mm-hmm. What? Are you back there again with your suitcase?
Told him Miss Denver was coming back today and that you'd get in touch with her in a couple of days.
Fine.
Said she understood and for me to thank her.
I'll see you tomorrow, Gordon.
Did he say Miss Ordway?
Yeah, she's a young writer he picked up somewhere. She's been working in the apartment for the past few weeks. Sounds goofy to me, but you know what a soft touch feels. Why, do you know?
No. No, I guess not.
Wasn't that the uncle? Mm-hmm.
What about the show?
Holding up very well. In fact, it looks now as if it might run into next season.
Lottie behaving herself?
Well, I think I'm the only one around the theater still speaking to her, but nobody's actually clobbered her yet.
Poor Brian.
If he doesn't like that sort of thing, he should never have said yes. She's a nut about that piece.
She must be a nut about other things, too. The secret of love is greater than the secret of death.
Okay.
Maybe she's in the kitchen.
Oh, so the suitcase just had her typewriter in it.
What is it?
Oh. Okay.
Hey, what's the matter? Can't you pull that sheet back off her face?
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it now. Hold it. Thank you.
It's not a photography session. It's a dead body.
How did she happen to be here in this apartment?
I gave her a key. She said where she lived wasn't very cheerful for writing. So when she asked if she could work here during the day, I said okay.
What do you make of this?
That's a quotation from the opera Salome. She was writing a story around that theme, I believe. Why the drawing, I don't know. Except that she often left drawings like that around with some kind of a facetious comment on them. I don't know what to make of that one.
You think it was meant as a suicide note?
I I suppose so, if you want to take it that way.
And in case there's any doubt about it, Lieutenant, I think you ought to know that Mr. Denver and I are not members of a giddy nightclub set who run around having casual affairs with other members of the group. We've been married for 7 years, and if you'll forgive an old-fashioned expression, we're still in love with each other.
I'll try and keep that in mind, Mrs. Denver.
Are you? Because the guy kind of said he wasn't sure.
Where are they?
I threw him out, I suppose. I can. Oh, wait a minute.
And didn't he say a couple of years ago she fell out of love with him? So she had an affair.
This is the first one I ever got from her. That's how she reminded me of her phone number.
Did she ever strike you as a neurotic?
Not much more than the rest of us, no.
Reasonably normal?
So she seemed to me.
And if you can't think of anything else at the moment.
Will you stop this silly imitation of Dragnet and let me in?
Oh my God.
Let her in.
Oh, she's annoying.
What is it, Peter?
Miss Ordway killed herself here this afternoon.
Do you mean that child you met at my party?
That's the one.
She was insane.
Why do you say that?
To hang herself when she could have used pills. Who are you?
Lieutenant Bruce is a detective. Miss Carlotta Marin, Lieutenant.
I recognize Miss Marion.
How do you do?
We won't stay, darling. I know this is no time for that. But may I say one thing to you?
Oh boy, what are you gonna
Without
say?
knowing anything else about the case, I can just imagine the first thought that came into your mind when you heard what had happened. But it's not true. Not possibly. To put the kindest face possible on it, the girl was a little horror.
Is the one on the right,
A
Ginger Rogers?
transparent, syrupy little phony
I
with
don't
about
know.
as much to offer a man as Cuckoo the Bird Girl.
One more thing, Mr. Denver. I wonder if you could tell me where you were this afternoon before you went to meet Mrs. Denver.
I went to a movie.
Which one?
It was an old picture at the Star Theater on 42nd Street. I'm casting a play now. There was a Hollywood actor in it I wanted to see.
What was the name of it?
The Girl in the Window.
How often did you see Miss Ordway in Mr. Denver's apartment?
Every day, sir.
And what was she doing there?
Writing on the typewriter.
And how was she dressed?
Always, sir. Except that once.
Do you mind telling us again about that once?
Once she was asleep in the bed.
Whose bed?
One of the beds in the bedroom.
Stop, because it click.
Well,
I
she
hear it
wearing
when you
that
click on that.
Pajamas, sir.
Whose?
Mrs. Denver's.
Was she alone?
Oh, yes.
As the divorce's wife.
That's what he told her. But I warned her then he'd never do it.
This woman must be out of her mind.
Hence
I don't
Black
know if
Widow
Miss
gets you in
Nancy
the
Ordway's
web.
lies are her own, but every word she's uttered is a lie.
And from your talks with her, were you able to decide for yourself whether this relationship was platonic or not?
It wasn't necessary for me to decide for myself. Nanny told me the whole sordid story. It was not.
The time of her death, in case you're interested, was between 2:30 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
When he was at the movies, I bet.
Thanks. I don't want to be troublesome, Miss Amberley, but I've got to know something more about that story you told the police.
I have nothing whatever to say to you. So will you please get out?
Mr. Denver,
Will you make him leave, John?
I thought they were in love though.
I'm her brother, John Amberley. What do you want?
John and what?
I want to know why your sister lied about me this morning.
I did not lie.
Well, then Miss Ordway lied to you, Miss Amberley, if that's where you got your story, because there's not one word of truth in it.
Are you going to get out or do you want me to call the police?
I wish you'd try to understand my position, Miss Amberley. No matter what she told you, I was nothing whatever to Nancy Ordway. Nothing whatever. My life's being chewed up here without my having the slightest idea how or why.
Now that's really wonderful. Your life's being chewed up. And what about his? I suppose that's nothing.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I loved her. I wanted her to marry me.
And she would have too, if it hadn't been for you.
Did she tell you that?
No, that's what she told my sister.
Is that true, Miss Amberley?
It is. Now I've asked you for the last time. Are you going to get out or shall I call the police?
She was a fruitcake.
And believe me, I say this for your own good.
We just dropped in to see if there was anything new.
Good of you. Now, what was it you were going to tell Iris for her own good, may I ask?
I was going to suggest to her that she move out of this place.
Why?
You're not that obtuse.
All right, then I'm going to take the liberty of making a suggestion to you. From now on, would you be good enough to keep your advice to yourself? Just as well if you never came in here again.
Now, look, both of you, I know we're all upset and all that, but don't let any one of us say anything we'll be sorry for later.
Ever since she's moved into this building, she's been poking her nose into my business, and I'm sick of it.
What happened?
What?
I said, what happened?
We've talked of you so often and with such sympathy. I'm sure you won't mind my calling you Iris.
Oh, jeez. Even from the grave.
Nanny Ortha. It is not an easy letter to write, as you can well imagine. But since Peter's already told you what has happened to us, I feel that I must add something by way of explaining Peter's side of the case.
Let me see that.
Let me see it first, if you don't mind.
You tell him.
You must understand that he was no more to blame, he had no more control over his emotions than you had when you realized you'd lost your heart to Martin.
Not like that. I never told her
Oh,
one
Peter,
thing.
please don't talk to me as if I were an idiot. Where else would she have got the name?
Will you let me explain?
She was targeting them.
What did you do? Just sit here and tell her everything about you and me?
No, of course. Now, what she's done, she's taken one stupid, foolish remark and built it into this impossible lie.
Everybody's gonna look dumb if he figures out why she was lying.
Would you do it?
Well, that's a somewhat different situation.
In what way?
Because, after all, you and I have an understanding.
What sort of understanding, may I ask?
You know, the understanding that if ever you catch me with another woman, you'll break my neck.
You object to that?
Of course not.
Also, he was lying.
Her husband, this one.
Remember? Because when she went to go look for the one guy, this was the guy standing outside.
Oh, yeah, he took her to yes, that's right.
Isn't this apartment identical with theirs?
So it could have been him.
We have a terrace and they don't.
May I see the arrangement?
Oh, that's just some doodles my wife makes when she's phoning.
Would you answer one or two questions strictly off?
Doodles.
I'll try.
Was she the one making with the weird doodles?
What do you think of Denver's story?
You know, like that.
No, I can't figure it.
This is entirely confidential, you understand?
I understand.
What was his reputation about women?
Very good, as far as I know.
No chasing?
I've never known of any.
She was murdered, choked to death, and then strung up. We just got the report.
Oh my gosh, it's getting more layers to this.
Do you think he could have done it?
I don't think he did it. I don't think Peter did it.
No.
It's being set
I
up.
just can't see Peter doing anything like that.
Because he's tired of being Mr. Marin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got so many suspects in my head right now.
News for you, Peter. Nanny didn't kill herself. She was murdered.
Yes.
Sergeant Owens from the police is here to see you.
Okay. Just hold it a minute, will you?
Back door. Yep.
Take a plan.
But if you're innocent, why are you running?
Either he's guilty or he's running because they feel like they have so much evidence against him.
Oh, get ready, little sports jacket, buddy.
Brian? We got cut off. Are you alone? Yes. Well, they came for me, but I got out. If they lock me up now, I'm a dead duck. Can you stay by that phone for a while?
Of course, but are you sure you should have done that?
I don't know, but it's
Cops are there.
I'm gonna be able to do anything for myself if I'm in the tombs.
That's the ugliest statue.
All right, well, what do you want me to do?
Nothing. Just stand by in case I need to get in touch with somebody.
Or the brother of her.
Who is it?
Lieutenant Bruce.
Let me go! Try to scream, you're gonna get hurt, you understand?
I don't know whether you know it or not, but Nancy Ordway was murdered, and they're trying to hang it on me. I want the truth, too.
When did that girl first tell you about me? When was that? How long ago?
June 2nd. It was on his birthday.
What makes you so sure of that?
That's when he asked her, the day he was 21.
And that same night she told you about this other man?
Yes, probably.
But didn't they just meet on June 2nd?
How long did you guess that?
Wasn't it June
I don't know,
6th?
several weeks, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
And that same night, she told you that it was me.
She did.
But remember,
What
she
did
had.
say exactly?
She was in the office when he was there, but he didn't know. Yeah.
Didn't think your wife would give you a divorce.
She's psycho.
Did she tell you then that she was going to have a
the other
child?
one.
No, not then.
When did she tell you that?
Last Tuesday.
So maybe
Apparently no
she
one's gonna
saw
help me
him
out
at
of
the
it but
theater on the
myself.
2nd.
So you think twice before you decide to do anything
Were they
foolish.
discussing a party at the... I can't remember. Somehow she overheard about the party and then she just showed up.
Get me the police.
Looks like you're in quite a jam.
It's worse than that. Now they say that it wasn't suicide.
I could have told you that from the start.
How?
Girls like that don't kill themselves. They're too busy for that.
What do you mean busy?
Getting on in the world, buttering up to people. You know what she did one night?
Huh?
Humphrey Bogart came to the place. She gave me $2 to let her help him put his coat on. You know the Amberleys?
Yes.
Well, look at the way she went after them. That's the way she went after everybody. I certainly don't want to speak disrespectfully of the dead, but that Nanny was strictly a purpose girl.
The girl that she lived with before she moved in with the Amberleys.
That wasn't any girl she lived with. That was a fella. I forget about him.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive. I took a paycheck there once, and it was his place. He answered the door.
I'm assuming the Amberleys are the friends.
It's the one she was engaged to, and the sister,
so.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. I never saw you.
No, don't do that. Don't get yourself mixed up in this. If they ask you, you just tell them exactly what you've told me.
Okay, then, if that's the way you want it.
This waitress is a real one.
You've come about Nanny, I suppose.
You bet I have.
I think you ought to know that the police are coming down here, too. That fellow Bruce, that detective.
I'm going to argue with you about this, Gordon. Now, if she had a lover, that's the man that killed her. And I want his name. Now, let's have it. Killed her. That's right, killed her. She was murdered.
Told me the whole story.
All right, then suppose you tell it to me.
Well, I knew that she'd been bringing somebody here when I was out. She still had a key to the place, but I had no idea who it was.
And she actually said me by name.
Yes. Not at first, but,
Who did she say at first?
well, I meant she didn't say any names first. She was pretty hysterical, you understand. It wasn't until she said Iris that I realized you were the one she was talking about.
You didn't realize she meant me. Who did you think she meant at first?
Why, as a matter of fact,
Is that them?
I suppose so.
How do I get out of here?
You're not going to run away, are you?
Is there a door at the back of this hall?
Yes, but don't you think that's rather foolish? They're bound to catch you sooner or later. Did I, fix you a drink?
No, thanks. We'd just like to ask you one question.
Yes?
We'd like for you to tell us everything you just told Mr. Denver.
They already know. But yet they're not coming after him. So do they kind of have a hint that maybe it's not him?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right, honey.
Miss Mills just told me, but neither of us knew where to look for you.
She'd tell you what they say now.
What idiocy. You may be dumb about some things, but you're not dumb enough to kill someone in your own apartment and then leave it there.
Because she's talking about this guy on June 2nd. And I hadn't even met her on June 2nd. I never met her until the day you left town, which was June 6th, remember?
Did Brian know her then?
That I don't know yet.
Because that's when she was at the theater.
But she was already talking about a famous wife. And then, just about 10 minutes
It would
ago,
have been what's her face.
it finally began to trickle into this thick skull of mine that I'm not the only character around town with a celebrated wife. You feel like helping me a bit with this?
And how convenient, because Brian's just upstairs. He can obviously go downstairs and, like, kill her.
Mm-hmm.
I want Lottie out of their apartment for about an hour or so I can
Lottie,
have a little
that's
talk
it.
with Brian. Think you can manage that?
You watch and wait and see.
Because I said he lied to her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would never. And then you had dinner with her and who knows what else.
Oh, come in.
Oh, why we got no lights on here?
Lottie just went out to see Iris, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
I know. I asked Iris to call her.
Gordon Ling?
He told me about you and Nanny.
Even though he didn't really say.
I'd like you to tell me about it if you don't mind.
I'm terribly sorry, Peter.
I'm sure you are, but that's not going to be enough this time. I'm being chased for murder, remember?
I was just too scared to say anything at all. And it wasn't murder then, you know, and you were already in it.
Go on.
You don't know what it means to be married to a woman like Lottie. But I'll tell you this. It's pretty lonely at times. Not that I wanted one, to tell the truth, but even if I had, Lottie would never have gone for a deal like that in 1,000 years, and I knew it. So I told her that even if I was able to find a way out, how was I going to support her? I've never been able to make a decent living, Peter.
What happened then?
Well, it was about 2 o'clock when she called me. Lottie was out, thank heavens, the photographers.
Are you alone?
Yes, but you shouldn't call me in the daytime. I've asked you.
I won't do it again, but I had to this time. I've got something very wonderful to tell you. Will you come down here?
Now look, dear.
Please, darling.
It's got to be done, Brian.
Because we're going to have a child. I'd do anything on earth. I'd give half my life if I could make you as happy about it as I am.
Nanny, darling. If only there was some reasonable way for us to...
But there is now. If you love me enough.
How?
Because I'm going to get some money. So much money that you'll be able to leave that woman. And you'll never have to worry about that part of it again. Peter's rich. Don't you think it would be worth $50,000 to him to keep a story like that out of the paper? Want to marry me?
I do, darling, but what you're saying is insane.
Why is it?
Well, for one thing, you'd never get away with it.
But it's already fixed, I tell you. Claire Amberley knows it, Uncle Gordon knows it. And I've even written to his wife and told her about it.
This is really crazy. Peter's my friend. He's been your friend. How could
Do
you...
you mean you're more concerned about him than you are about me?
That's not it at all. It's just that you simply can't do this to a perfectly decent, innocent person.
Well, then why don't you arrest him?
Arrest who?
Who do you think?
I think first I'd like to hear the rest of Mr. Mullen's story. Sergeant Welch, who has rather an old-fashioned approach to criminal investigation, was thoughtful enough to leave this little Mike here this afternoon so we were able to listen to the first part in the office downstairs. Can I persuade you to continue with it now?
And to think about it.
How much time?
How can I answer that either? But don't you think it'd be better in any case to wait until we're less upset emotionally and then try to find a way out calmly?
All right, I'll give you exactly 15 minutes until 3 o'clock. And then you can tell me whom you want the lawyer to go to.
Please, Nanny, you're behaving like an idiot. Let me in. Let me in.
You do love me, don't you?
I do.
Can think what it'll do for us, darling. You'll be free. We'll have more money than we can possibly need. And we'll have a home together with our child. Doesn't that sound worth anything we have to do to get it?
I suppose so, but...
But they can stand it, darling. They're rich and famous and important. We're not.
That's all there was to it.
You mean that's all you're going to tell us?
Nothing more to tell. While I was getting up enough courage to go down and see her, Lottie came in. I'm sorry, darling.
Did Lottie kill her? Oh, Lord. Please don't tell me it's Peter after all.
Everybody's known about Peter and the girl for weeks.
But he was a friend of mine.
Is that why you accused him of the murder twice already?
I accused him because I knew you had nothing actual against him. It's better that I be set down as a wicked, jealous, spiteful woman than that...
Then that your husband should be suspected.
Yes. I knew there was someone, but I had no idea it was her. I thought she was Peter's girl. I knew nothing about Brian and her.
But that's not evidence, Miss Marin. Is that all you've got to tell us?
No. I was willing to keep quiet for Mr. Denver's sake. For the sake of anyone who's been as close to me as he and Mrs. Denver have been. But not at the risk of my husband's life, regardless of what he's done to me. Still not a murderer.
Go on.
I came home that afternoon from the photographer's around 3 o'clock with the proofs of the pictures that Mr. Denver had ordered. I knew he was anxious to see them as soon as possible, so I decided to stop off at his apartment in case he should be there to show them to her.
Let me go, Peter. Let me go. I'll let you go when you come to your senses, wouldn't you?
Help, police!
What?
She's lying. I know it.
The afternoon when he came into the Star Theater.
And you're sure it was him?
Oh, sure. Most actors know Mr. Denver by sight anyway.
And what time was that?
Oh, he came in about 2:30, I should say, and he left about 4:30.
What makes you so certain about those hours?
Well, I was planning to speak to him when he came out. About a part. So I was keeping an eye on him. But sometime after 4:30, he got out without my seeing him.
So she's lying again.
And you're still willing to swear to that statement, Miss Marin?
Okay, I'm glad it's not Peter, because I had a little faith in him that it wasn't him.
Okay, then. You're under arrest, Mr. Mullen.
But he didn't do it.
Don't you think you interfered in this thing enough already?
Yeah, right?
He couldn't have.
How do you know he couldn't have, Miss Marin?
Because I know him. I know what kind of person he is.
Because you did
Miss
it.
Marin, that's not what you meant at all. You meant something else entirely.
Just for a few minutes.
No, I'll call you tomorrow.
Please, darling.
All right, then, but just for a few minutes.
Just tap on the door.
All right.
What do you want here?
You filthy, dirty little beast.
You get out of here.
You're the one who's going to get out of here and out of New York, too, if you know what's good for you.
You just wait until I tell him about this.
Did you hear what I said?
Maybe you're the one who's going to be sorry for this.
You try to see him again and you'll soon find out who's going to be sorry.
Like Lottie from the beginning,
Sick
so.
of you and your meanness, and he's sick of being a slave. He hates you. He hates you.
Your kitchen this morning, Miss Marin.
Remember?
Is it
I
yours?
was.
Some scribbles and a grocery order. Mr. Mullen said it was yours. Now, the police lab tells me that this drawing, which we took to be by the girl, was
I
actually
knew it.
drawn by the same hand and same ballpoint pen that did those doodles.
I knew it.
Which you did.
She ain't gonna do well in prison.
Nancy Ordway's trouble was that she was a purpose girl who forgot her purpose. She fell in love. Unfortunately, the fellow she fell in love with was Miss Carlotta Marin's husband. Personally, I just as soon try to take something away from Rocky Marciano.
What do you think they'll do to Lottie?
That I couldn't tell. A thing like that's up to the jury.
Without any makeup, her hair just a little straggled and gray. Wearing a rather faded print dress from a bargain basement. And no girdle. And when this poor, brave, pathetic little housewife gets through with that jury,
they'll probably convict me.
That is not impossible.
Okay, that was Black Widow from 1954. What did you think?
It was good. It started off pretty slow.
It picked up once they started blaming him.
Yes. And I know that they had to set it up, like this, you know, this whole, everything that was going on with this girl. But yeah, for sure. Once he started trying to, you know, be detective himself. And I was like, okay.
Before we get more into it, what would you rate this, like, on your scale?
Like a 7.
Yeah, 7.5.
No.
Maybe.
I mean, if it wouldn't have lulled at the beginning, I probably would have given it a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know sometimes movies have to have the setup, but I feel like it dragged a lot at the beginning part. What was I gonna say? Oh, I did put it together though when he was like looking at the doodles, you know, the detective, and he was like, "Oh, and who did this?" Right, with the grocery list, and then he put it in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was onto something there, and I was right.
Because I remember, I was like, it seems like everybody's lying. Because I was like, but he lied to her about where he was.
Oh, what's his?
What
face?
he was doing, Brian.
Brian, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and it makes sense because Peter didn't see her at the theater. His back was to her.
Remember, they said June 2nd. He said he met her on June 6th.
And then right as she walked out, then he followed her and then was like, "Do you want to have?" And that's, remember I made that comment like, "Wow, that's the second dinner that somebody's." But I had, you know, because they were flashing back because that's what he was saying 2 months ago or whatever, right? That's why he was narrating that part to set the timeline. So yeah, and then his wife was, I would, you know, and she was like, "I would break your neck" or whatever. But then at that point, she already knew. Because the girl was already dead, right, when she said that. So, like, she already knew. So, yeah, and then when it was, like, trying to go back on Peter, that she heard Peter, I was like, oh, no. I figured because he was too, like, you know, well, when I said, when he tried to run out of his office, I was like, oh, only the guilty would run. But no, he knew that he'd be locked up. So he's like, now he's starting to put the pieces together. But the detectives already were like one step ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much already knew it was Brian. And then how they secretly put the little recording device in there. So, yeah. Yeah. She was just a little hussy.
I think Peter was like the only one I really actually liked.
The wife was annoying. His wife was kind of like, well, she was just kind of there. Not annoying, but she was just kind of there. Yeah, Lottie was annoying from the get. She really was. No, I don't think I could stay in a house where somebody was like, especially for a while. I'd feel like there'd be such bad energy, right? In the house, but yeah, overall, I just have to look and see which one.
Ginger Rogers.
I'm feeling like she was Lottie, maybe.
I feel like, but I remember vaguely seeing her in that little clip from Green Mile when they're dancing.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know what her face
looks like. I don't remember either at all. So I don't remember. So we'll check that one out or leave it in the comments. Which, well, I guess we could look in the credits. Obviously, it's probably gonna roll credits here at the end, right? Do you have anything else to say on this one?
No, that's it. Glad we watched it.
Yeah, me too. Even though you've been putting it off, you've been putting it off for a while.
Yeah.
So if you guys like what you're seeing, please leave us a like. Definitely subscribe. Leave us any fun facts or, you know, how did you guys feel about this movie? Did you know it was her from the get-go? Yeah, let us know that in the comments as well. And let's see if there's anything else. Is there anything else we needed to announce or anything? No? No, that's it. So I guess with that, as always, be kind. Definitely right now the world needs a whole lot more of that. And
it's a wrap.
See you at the next reaction, y'all.